Well, it's that time you all been waiting for. But let me just tell you, Jesus wants to say, hello, world. See, this is actually his holiday. He, God made this holiday to represent mankind in its ignorance. This was when we believed in spooks and goblins and anything man could dream up. That was Jesus' holiday. And that is how mankind was when Jesus was walking the nursery. My holiday is coming up, Thanksgiving. And that one was designed to give thanks to God, straightening out all this stupidity that's going on, and for the second coming, second holiday. The third one, Christmas, is peace. And that is peace for God, because in reality, he needs the three kings so that he can sit back and let us run it. And that is why we have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Bet you didn't know that. But as far as what he wants done with the world, let's start with salaries. Salaries are stupid, what we got going on. Everyone is going to make a minimum of $50,000 a year. Nobody, with the exception of an owner of a business that survives the rapture, which there's not going to be many, are going to make more than $250,000 a year. And this includes all salaries in the world. We live way too high on the hog. Some live on peanuts, pennies. That's not going to happen anymore. The way we're going to structure these salaries is the products are going to pay for the salaries. And that is what he wants the profit of the companies to go back into. You're going to keep your company alive with the proper maintenance and safety, and you're going to pay the salaries. And the salaries are going to include insurance. Everything is going to be insured. The people and their vehicle and their houses. Well, no, the houses, never mind. Nope. Just the people and the vehicles. Because the housing is going to be a different program. And there's going to be services. You're either going to make money by making a product or providing a service. And the service, say you work at Walmart or you work for the government, the Federation, that is, you will get your salary from Avatar Foundation. All the profit that is made in companies are going to go back to the people or to Avatar Foundation. Now, that's not going to make a lot of money left over. So the real big money maker, the one that's going to increase or make our future, is the leasing. See, God owns the world. He's going to lease every square foot of it. If you're a farmer, you will pay to lease your land. If you are a resident or a person living, you will pay for your square footage. No more mortgages. No more house insurance. No more upkeep, because if you're leasing it, it's covered. But here's how God sees the future. We're going to build nice multi-unit communities, buildings. These things, I've seen a design on YouTube where a guy had structurally put trees, building multi-level with stores and everything in these things. This is what we're going for. This is the direction we will go eventually. But right now we have to deal with the structures we have. And so you're going to pay a lease for your square footage. Not going to be as much as your mortgage. Same thing with the farmers. It's not going to be that much. We don't have a price yet because we don't know how much we're going to need. Because that money that's collected around the world for that lease is building new buildings. And is going to, 10% of it is going to Starfleet. Starfleet is going to be developing, obviously, the means to travel into space and the quantum entangled computer technology. So we will need money and people to do that. And on the other hand, products. Not all products are equal. We will eventually weed out the crappy ones and we will make good ones in each country. Each country will provide their own supplies for their people. That means that those that have a good idea will share it with the world. If you got a really awesome set of pliers, we'll make them all over the world. If you got an awesome drone, we'll make them all over the world. That's what the infrastructure is going to be. Now, granted, pliers are a little more important than drones, so we're going to have to work on a priority. And this is not going to be easy. Not at all. Because what we're going to have to do is figure out how many people we got and where we got to build first. But there's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be lost. All insurance, pretty much all bankers. Yeah. Advertising. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of jobs that are going to be lost. However, there's going to be a lot of new ones. And it's going to be involving infrastructure and accounting. Boy, there's going to be a lot of accounting to get done. And eventually, we're going to work it out to where people can retire at the age of 50. Mandatory at 60. That way they can enjoy some of their last years in the nursery. And that's going to be worldwide. But here's the part that's probably going to piss off a lot of people. See, we got to do this big cash out. Everybody's got to turn their money, their gold, everything in for a cash out. So what exchange rate do we give? Well, God has told me that right now, and I do not totally understand this, but you economics guys will. He says we're going with the prices of 2000, where the US dollar stood at the year 2000. Because after the year 2000, God was messing with the world and totally destroyed the dollar. And that is not fair to the dollar. And so everyone will get exchanged out for the dollar with its value exchange of the year 2000. And they will get changed into chips. And that will happen for the entire year next year. And by the end of the year, next Christmas, we will all be on chips. And a pair of pliers in China will cost 6 chips, and it'll cost 6 chips in America. It'll cost 6 chips anywhere in the world. That is the way it is going to be. And any profit in making those pliers just goes to Avatar Foundation. All the lease money goes to Avatar Foundation. And that, except for that 10% that goes to Starfleet, the world leaders and the country leaders will decide what gets built and when. And it'll be fair across the board. Every country will have a budget, and it will be given to that country. And then they will decide what they do. All companies are going to stop competing with each other. Over the next year, they will join together. All freight companies will become one freight company. The logistics of the world is going to be a little bit confusing, but it's easily managed with people that are working with their heart. No more competing with each other. That's what's been killing the market to start with. And then double doing something. We got FedEx, UPS, and the other, they're all flying into the same airport every day. How about we just get one, or the planes that we need to cover the packages for that day? See, that is what is going to go down. And so, with that comes the CEO's jobs. See, if you're an owner and you survive the rapture, you obviously will be the CEO. However, many of you will not. And so your acting CEO will work with the other CEOs of the same business. And for example, FedEx, UPS, DHS, all the other freight companies, their CEOs will get together and they will logistically solve the problems of shipping and freight and packages. Because we're going to change. Remember I told you we wasn't going to have postmen? We're not. However, we're going to have routes that postmen can do. Because we aren't going to have to go to the grocery stores anymore to get our packages or to get our stuff. We're going to have them delivered to our house. You know how the garbage man goes around and does his routes? That's how we're going to get packaging. From now on, we're not going to waste. You'll have 5 delivery drivers drive down your street. Each has one package for that damn street. It isn't going to be like that anymore. The village delivery system, aka they used to be the post office, will deliver to everyone daily. And they will bring the packages that are brought through their system to that house. We will get an efficient system set up. It's not happening on Christmas Day. Sure, it ain't going to be there on New Year's Day either. It's going to be a minute. But we're pretty resilient and smart people. We're going to figure it out. Matter of fact, he was saying that we have a lot of plastic that needs to be recycled. It can't be made into anything but really hard plastic. We could build a whole bunch of delivery boxes. Something that's animal proof, something that's weatherproof, and have them delivered to every home so that delivery men have a place to put their packages. I'm telling you, he's been throwing some ideas at me, but he doesn't want to micromanage the world. What he wants me to do is to tell you guys a direction, and he wants us to solve the problems. Because it can all be done if we work together and we work as one. You know, one of the biggest problems we have right here locally is there's not enough personnel for all the department stores or all the stores because they're all competing with each other. What if you had one grocery store, Walmart, and everybody that needed to go get the packages, they could until this delivery system goes up? And yeah, it's going to kill the mom and pop stores, but being in business for yourself, trying to be rich, is not the answer. It never was. What people didn't know about mom and pop stores is it was like being married to a business. Everything that happened gave you ulcers. Everything that had to be done, it was all on your shoulders. There was really not much pleasure in mom and pop stores. But it's going to change. And the world is going to change. But it's not going to change overnight. It's going to be a slow process. But greed is no longer going to be the driving force. The driving force is going to be the hearts of the world. We're going to start doing what's right. This really never had to happen. But because mankind needed to be taught a lesson, it did, and it is happening. Greed must be stopped at all costs. And yeah, there's going to be some upset people in the world finding out they're not as rich as they thought. But they're going to be a whole lot more unhappy when they're standing in front of God. But that was their call. You can never allow yourself to make that mistake as you go through life. As you go through this video game called boot camp. must always pay attention to your heart. You must walk with God leading you. And you must do what's right. If the entire world does this, man, we are going to be able to move mountains with a touch of a finger. Yeah, we got a lot of military men. They're going to have construction jobs. However, natural disasters, things that this stimulation are designed to create, are still going to be having to take care of. And all emergency personnel will have to work together when disaster strikes. Because after all, it is still a simulation. We will still have volcanoes, we will still have earthquakes, we will still have storms. That is not ending. Can't end. Not without redoing the simulation, and that's not what it's about. This is a training exercise. And for all of you thinking, well, I have my house, I own my house. No, nobody owns anything here. Everyone, every single person is a temporary resident. Don't forget that. This is the temporary existence. Your real existence, your eternal existence, is yours if you want it, but it isn't here. It's when you die. That is your eternal existence. And there you will have your house, your property, your things. And it is so much more magical than this nasty place we live in. These jobs, like professional sports, not going to happen. College ball, not going to happen. A lot of the things we do for entertainment, especially big dollar entertainment, is not going to happen. Though there is no money for those things anymore. What do we do for fun? You get active in your village. You take vacations, go see beautiful things. See, Vegas, they're going to still have awesome things to see and do. And yeah, gambling, I don't care. However, it's a sin. It's your call, though. But God's taking all the profit for those casinos, though. He owns them too. There will be no owners in a casino. And these CPAs, when they sign on with Avatar Foundation, they will have the same double penalty zone as a sheriff or a man of God. They will have to report the truth. Their eternal soul depends on it. So, You want to give your money to God on the tables, betting? Your call. And then comes the bank accounts. Every personal account will be honored, but every business account, every house of God's account, and every personal account of the raptured personnel will become God's money. And that's our startup cash for this whole program. And that comes effective Christmas Day. And so the world will be a far greater place in about 10 years. Until then, it's going to be a little left up. But everybody will be a lot happier. Everyone. Because you know what's really awesome about this? Is our children's future will be saved. And our children's children. That makes this all worthwhile. That is what this is. The Great Reset. The year 0001. Which is what we're in right now. And so now we wait until Christmas Eve. And I'm sure there's other details that he'll have to add that we've just touched the surface. But he has the lease and the pricing of lease. Because, if you got a 10,000 square foot house, it's going to cost you a few bucks to lease that. And the farmers, he wants me to make sure and say that the farmers, he's going to take care of them. He'll tell them what to plant. It may be just an oxygen plant, something made to make oxygen. Avatar Foundation will figure out what they need. But the best part is the tractors and the equipment and the stuff he needs to operate his farm. Yeah, that comes with the lease. You know, one of the biggest expenses for a farmer is having a combine to harvest it. Avatar Foundation will have fleets of them to help them at harvest. After all, it's God's corn. And we're going to come up with a lot of other good ideas and programs to help the farmers. The dairy and meat, though, we're going to have to eventually come to something different for them. Because for us to have steaks, real steaks, it's killing our planet. And if we were to try and put a steak on every plate in the world, half the world would have to be cows. And that just isn't working out. The math isn't there. We're going to have to learn to live off of simulated meat. Now, that ain't going to happen right away, and it ain't going to happen completely, because, see, here's the thing about meat. He does want every child that's born to get a chance to taste a really good steak. So we'll always have a few cows. And we'll make it like an 18th birthday treat to where he goes out and gets to have a real good steak and try it. Because that way, when you go to heaven or the Nexus, you have that memory. Because then you can have that steak as many times as you want. But you gotta have experienced it. And that's the thing about this here in the nursery, guys. If you didn't ever experience it, you can't have that sensation up there. So when I tell you to go out there and experience it, you need to experience it. Because then it can be replayed. And it'll be as real as when it was here. I've talked a lot this half hour, and I'm sure he'll have more to tell me. And again, I'm sorry for those that are going to be raptured. But it is your call. And I doubt that it'll be the last I ever have to see go to hell. There'll be somebody that thinks they're fooling something. They're getting away with something. Or they give in to the temptation to murder. I really hope not. I really do have an optimistic view that maybe the whole world will figure it out. You're not lying to anybody. You're not getting away with anything. He knows what you think, what you feel, what you do, and he's recording every moment you're alive. But again, it's your call. St. Patrick, Christ the Second, your second king, and his, God's, second son, signing off.